Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Bad Thought Studios. Today, we're going to be talking about Marvel. Bob Iger came out and said that they're going to be focusing more on the stronger franchises within the MCU, within Marvel. So we're going to kind of talk about our opinions on what franchises those are going to be. I got a big panel with me. I got Candid, Michael, and Colin. How you fellas doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Ye-
Thank you.
So Marvel, guys, is in my opinion hasn't been what it was. You know, we got our Loki, which was decent. We got a whole bunch of movies that were supposed to be coming out that didn't do well in the box office. The Marvels, I think that was what was the Marvel or the movie that just dropped? It was the Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel's Captain Marvel,
Was it the Marvels? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, and I
Marvels.
think it's the marbles.
And that
The
didn't do
fact that you had to
well.
ask that just now because it's just there's too
Yeah,
much.
exactly. It hasn't been doing good, and they kind of um veered away from what it was like with, you know, the Avengers and Iron Man, Thor. Like, we enjoyed calling each other and talking to each other about, hey, what's coming next? Like, what do you think is going to happen next? You know what I'm saying? That was the best part about watching Marvel. And now it's like, what the hell is next? Like, what do we have to see that is going to be, you know, good? And not saying these things were horrible, but they're not to the standard we're used to. We're used to very high, not very high production, but very high budgets, and the production fit the budget. Like, everything looked good. The storyline, the CGI, the characters, everything looked good. Now it's just like, hey, let's just throw something out. And to me, I just think it diluted a little bit of the MCU. But what do you think, Michael? Do you think the same?
Um, yeah, so I think that having too many projects, and I think this goes back to when Disney Plus first came out. They wanted because the streaming service came out, they wanted to have all these streaming shows, right? So you have to create all this content, and then when you have like 12 projects, movies and shows in a year, Kevin Feige, he's spread thin. He can't oversee everything at once, and I think that really lowers down the quality. And that goes for the CGI, the writing, and it's like those are big things across the board that people have been complaining about. And so you can't keep up that high Marvel quality when you have too much going on.
Yep. And you said that perfectly. And the what's his name? Kevin Feige? Is
Kevin
that how you
Feige.
say? I think when we had talked to, shout out to OG and George, we had did an episode with him with them when we were talking about him being like he overlooked so many projects. It sucks because he didn't have enough people to help him out, like to approve this and approve that, deny this. And I feel like they should bring someone in that could do that with him. You know what I'm saying? And like we were saying, it's been bringing in so much. They've been bringing in so much content, and it not hitting the way we're used to it, and it sucks. It really sucks. What do you think, Andy?
So my whole thing is too is that I feel like they're throwing darts at the wall and seeing what hits the bullseye, and they're still missing. There's some
Mhm.
like outliers like the Shang-Chi. That was one of
Beautiful
those
movie.
ones where you
Mhm.
you wouldn't think of him being a character and having his own movie, but it ended up being one of the top grossing Marvel movies. But then there's other things like the Miss Marvels. We technically kind of need them for the universe, but we're already done with the MCU or that time period in the MCU. So why are we putting out these B to C tier people or characters and then giving them big budget films instead of making or adapting shows? I'm okay if you give me shows of these lower tier people. I think that would be better. But if you're giving me full productive productions of bullshit characters and then thinking they're going to stick, and you only get lucky with one, which is Shang-Chi,
It's
it's
just
kind of a waste of money.
it's
Yeah.
too much, right? It's just too much characters. Like, we knew what the Avengers were. There was this side characters that weren't technically Avengers, but we knew who they were.
And they were
But now,
okay being there in those movies. Like leave
yeah,
them there.
exactly. And another thing, it's like right now you're not. We were so used to the Avengers, the Avengers movies and the Avenger universe that they didn't make it clear on what was next. We don't know if we're going back to the Avengers part of it, if the Avengers are just done in general. Like, they didn't make it clear enough for us to know what was next as far as and a second Avengers or whatever the case may be. And I think that's what people were kind of confused about. It's like, is this canon? Is this movie canon? Is this show canon? And it sucks because you go on the Disney Plus right now, it shows which movies are canon and the order it's in. They shouldn't have to do that. They shouldn't have to tell you what movie is next within the canon timeline. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I think Tones, that's the other big issue too, is that right now you cannot jump, like you can't take a newbie and bring them into the MCU and have them know what's going on. Like they're going to be lost because they're going to have to see all the previous movies and TV shows to even know what's happening. And I think for a movie to be successful, it has to stand on its own. Yes, it's in like phase 4 or 5, but if a new person doesn't know what the hell is going on, then how are they going to enjoy the movie? So I think
Yep.
that's like an issue too. But having too many projects also, right? Like it's like, okay, well, we have Spider-Man. Spider-Man was great, but then we have Ms. Marvel. Some people liked it, some people didn't. And then you have the Disney Plus, like again, their shows are only like 6, 7, 8 episodes long and like 29 minutes. Like you can't get a lot of good content out of that and good writing, storytelling, because then it always happens where they start strong and then towards the end they crash. They can never stick the
Yep.
landing.
So let me ask you this then, because you brought up Spider-Man. Do you think Sony's doing a good job at kind of spreading out their versions of the Spider-Man franchise, where they're using Spider-Man, Venom, Morbius, and I remember a lot of those things are still needed for the new coming up Marvel stuff they're putting out, like Blade. Like those are all needed. So do you think Sony's doing a good job at kind of slowing down on their end?
Go ahead, Michael. You can answer that first.
Oh, I would say for Spider-Man, yeah, because those movies are the ones that we have now with Sony, like the Across the Spider-Verse and all those are really successful. And I think that Sony has a clear vision for Spider-Man of where they want it to go. For MCU, like right now, back to the Avengers, nobody knows who the Avengers are, right? Like we don't know who they are, who are going to be the new Avengers, where the story's even going, and all these events and these movies and shows, none of these are really like kind of no other characters talking about what's going on in like the other show or movie, right? So it's like,
Sure.
okay, are these like how connected are these and where in the timeline do these fit at, right?
And nor
So
do they stand out either.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, so what are you guys doing? Like I don't understand where this is going.
Yeah, and excuse me. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, and also in the comments, I believe they're not going to be using Tom Holland as Spider-Man for the Venom universe. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're going to be. I think they might be veering off to either a Tobey Maguire or a Andrew Garfield, I think his name was. I believe they're veering off to one of them or maybe multiple of them when it comes to Venom. I could be wrong, could be totally wrong, but I think I read something along those lines.
I'm not mad at that if they're using one of those three.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on the timeline that they're trying to play.
Exactly.
Because you got to remember, Venom is set up to be. Venom's not really set up to be in the new with the new MCU at all. So they can go back, I think, to Tobey Maguire and be all right.
Well,
or no, probably not. Huh?
Well, not just that. I do think Venom was kind of set up in the current MCU because at the end of the most recent Spider-Man, Tom Holland's character drops a piece of the symbiote or whatever at the bar.
You're right.
So that's where I was like, well, it's interesting because maybe they do something similar because in that same movie, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were like saying like, hey, we should hang out. Like they were having like this side conversation of like, oh, I'll give you my number. We can hang out. So I think that would be really smart of Sony considering the success of that movie and then taking just those two characters that they actually have the rights to and then putting them in a separate universe where they interact.
That's
and then they're like, oh, remember when we helped the other Spider, you know what I mean? Like they could reference all of those other things because they still have the rights to that specific movie too. So I think that'd be really cool. I would
do they have to have Marvel's help? Or does Disney does Disney have to even help with that? Because there's some weird.
I don't.
Or they only own the new Spider-Man.
I mean, I honestly have zero idea how that ownership works, but I know that Sony's name showed up in the credits in the most recent Spider-Man movie.
Well, let us know in the comments, guys, because that's a very interesting
I think Mike actually knows.
concept.
I was gonna say that I believe Sony is like the rightful owner of Spider-Man, and Disney they license it out. But I think that if they were to do what you were saying, like they have that kind of multiverse thing going on, then like they can work together and be like, okay, we have Tom Holland and in the Sony verse, and then we have the Sony verse with the Tom Holland, right? They can work together. But Disney doesn't outright own Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That'd be dope, but that'd be very, very interesting to see how they do that going forward.
Characters too that Sony has under their belt, especially like if they wanted to get past it and even do more origin stories for like Sandman and stuff like that, would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the whole villain side of. You don't see that very often. You don't get to see the villain as the main character and see their background, why they're so mad, why they're upset, why they're a villain, why they got dropped into
and Venom
electric fields.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Venom would be perfect for that, or is perfect for that too.
Yeah,
like
Venom. They made Venom kind of soft, but I like the route they went. I actually really enjoyed those movies. And Eddie Brock is like, they did a good job on the casting. Everything was great.
Yeah,
they really did a good job at keeping them separate.
So Bob Iger says that Marvel will be focusing on their stronger franchises, reducing the volume going forward. So pretty much what we've been saying is we agree with this statement from him. Like, we agree they should lower the volume of Marvel. They should lower the volume for the MCU. They don't need to be going too overboard, putting these new characters out, putting these movies out that, they might have we might get to see a good origin story, but at the same time, it's like, how does this fall into the phases that you've been telling us has been going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty. I agree with this. I think they should have done this years ago. But I'll start with you, Marcus, or Candid, excuse me. What do you think about this, bro? Do you think it's a good thing that they're going to be reducing it? Do you think they should keep doing what they're doing? I mean, I kind of
talked about this. Yeah, we already talked about this a few times. So my thing is, I don't want to slow down to the point where I don't have like 2 or 3 Marvel movies a year. I'm okay having 2 or 3. They're different projects. Don't give me 2 to 3 plus 5 shows and then a mini series and then a series on HBO for some reason because they want to get some of the HBO rights. And then you have Hulu. Then they're like, oh, we're going to merge Hulu with Disney Plus, but you're only going to be able to watch this here.
Great point.
And I don't like that because guess what? I don't know where the fuck I'm going.
Yeah.
For instance, there's a show with those kids. It was on Hulu. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Exactly. There's a show on Hulu. It's a Marvel with a whole bunch of kids. There's a couple seasons of it. They all have weird, strange ass powers that are kind of OP for no reason. I don't even know what they're called. The Immortals. Is that it? The Immortals?
It very well could be.
But that's the point I'm making. They have all this shit in separate places, and I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. I don't know what the fucking immortal kids are. I don't know that. Like, I know enough Marvel to get by. I don't know what those weird little shows are. They don't need to be made. And you're not bringing them into the giant franchise to have them help with the timeline. Why the fuck you need to make that? That's a waste of money.
And there's enough characters for them to do like a Thor movie or a Hulk movie or a Captain
Stick
America
to those. Stick to the ones that everyone fucking. Dude, I can go in the house right now and pull up my kids' fucking pajamas, and they're gonna have some kind of like main Marvel character on it.
Exactly.
Give me that shit.
And
She-Hulk.
And another thing, bro, it's like I would have preferred them to just just knock everyone else out, start over fresh. No, there's no characters inside this MCU. They're going to start with each origin story like they did Iron Man, Thor, Spider-Man. Like, start all over and make a new group, a new Avengers. Like, and then if they have to, bring in the old guys, bring in fucking Thor or whatever. Like, eventually bring them in. But I think they should have just started over in general, or just bring in what we were talking about, X-Men, Deadpool, and just do their whole series about that. I think I would have loved them to just do X-Men and Deadpool and keep it as simple as that, because everyone would have loved it.
Shit. They had Legion on Hulu.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
And then
I watched a couple seasons. It was actually pretty good.
Cloak and Dagger was another one that only had like 2 seasons. That it was not that great. The Gifted, 2 seasons. So if you're only gonna have 2 seasons made, why? You don't do nothing for nothing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What you thinking about this, Michael? Do you think it's a good idea that they're reducing the Marvel
Yes,
shows?
yes, because they need to get back on focusing on quality, and that's what Marvel is missing right now. Is quite all of like Phase 4, this whole multiverse saga has been not good quality, and everybody can see it. I think that because so here's the thing, right? It's like people say, "Oh, there's superhero fatigue." I don't. My opinion, I don't believe that. I don't believe there is superhero fatigue. I believe there's crappy movie fatigue. So if a movie's bad and it's not good, and you keep putting those out, people are gonna get sick of it. They're like, "Well, okay, Marvel, okay, like their reputation's going down the toilet now." So it's like, "Oh, it's a Marvel movie. It's gonna probably be trash." So you go into the movie, with very low expectations, or you don't watch it at all. So yes, they should, cut down and focus on the quality of the movie, right? Again, the acting, the writing, the CGI, all of it. Take control and make sure that these are good quality products you're putting out. Um, and
See
then
that
for
real quick, real quick. I don't have a problem with as far as the actors. In my opinion, the storylines have just not been what we're used to, as far as the MCU. Like that would be my biggest issue with everything. The actors don't really have an issue with. Maybe some were not as good here and there, but
yeah,
nothing stands out as far as the actors of why the movie was bad or why the movie didn't. But we're used to a certain standard with the storyline and like Love and Thunder, for instance, actors were phenomenal. We
they were,
didn't, but
yeah.
the Thor was a different character, but he was still a great actor. We didn't like the direction Thor was going. This whole comedy thing, like he's a god. But what I'm trying to say is like the storyline isn't what we're used to when it comes to these Marvel films. But sorry to cut you off, Michael. Go ahead, continue.
No, no, I just want to say like that. No, you're right. Like that acting has been good. It's just I was just kind of just going to the general thing about everything that makes movies. So
Yeah.
my apologies.
No,
Um,
you're good, bro.
But like with Marvel 2, what personally I'm not really liking is the over kind of comic relief that we're having with all this humor, like in Thor: Love and Thunder. I laughed. I did, right? I liked Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, that's not what I wanted it to be. I want it to be more violent. I want a Thor that's going to kick ass.
Yep.
Not all this funny jokes and stuff. I laughed. I admit I laughed, but that's not what I wanted from the movie. Um,
Or from
and
Thor.
Oh yeah, or from Thor, yeah, or from
Yeah.
Thor himself.
Yeah,
But
anyway.
but yeah, no, we do definitely have to bring the quality back and slow down and make sure that these movies are a good output.
It
Yep.
was also real quick. It was The Runaways on Hulu. There's 3 seasons of it, and then they also had another show called Hellstrom
Yeah, I never heard
in
of
in
any of
in
those.
2020, and it's like a fucking far off Marvel character that you probably never heard of. Badass logo though. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's the whole point.
yeah, and then can I just say too, real quick, is that I think that a lot of the newer characters we got introduced, I believe they should have been like a star of their own movie. Like we should have got them introduced as their own like solo movie, and then use the Disney Plus series as not something that you
Yeah.
have to watch, but as something that like like a little extra storyline of these guys, right? But again, back to where newcomers coming in, they're lost now because they have to watch every single thing. So that's just
Yeah.
kind of what I think.
It's crazy they did that too. They did these little time zones too.
Hmm.
And that, for instance, I was talking to Tones about this the other day with the like the Luke Cage and the Jessica Jones. Like that's when it kind of started, I think, where they started kind of just poking in a little bit. And those series were great. I liked them. And then they started just dumping bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Uh,
Colin?
yeah, I was just about to say, where's your head at, Colin?
Where you been?
Well, I think I agree. I mean, I think that there's obviously too much content. Like, I am not caught up on it at all. You know what I mean? Like, I just watched the third Spider-Man in that franchise, and
Mhm.
I actually really, really enjoyed it though. Like, I thought it was
Yeah,
a
it was great.
solid
That's
movie.
It
great,
was a
man.
great movie.
I haven't watched a Spider-Man in that a Tom Holland Spider-Man that I didn't enjoy at least enough.
Mhm.
Like, I was never like groaning, like, oh, okay, here we go. So I think that one, it's great that they would be reducing their content, but at the same time, when they say like we're going to focus on our stronger franchise, it's like, okay, well, now you need to tell us what that means,
Yeah.
because what does focusing on your franchise mean? Like, if you're it's not that you're focusing on a million different things, that your main franchises are also failing. It's
Mhm.
because you're writing bad stories, you're making bad movies, and so don't blame it on, oh, our heads are in 1,000 different places. It's like, no, you're putting exactly what you want on paper and on screen. So don't make it like, and that's the thing that sucks, is that like we were talking before on this one about, falsely criticizing, or criticizing and hating just to hate. It's like, then on the flip side of that, people can hide behind, creators can hide behind that and be like, you're just hating on the way that we're taking the franchise. It's like, no, dude, like everyone is telling you that this is a bad idea.
Mhm.
At least everyone that's a core fan. You have like a really squeaky wheel over here that's super duper stoked about everything. And then it's like you have the main majority of the people that watch your movies consistently who are like, no, we're not going to watch this one. And that, going all the way back, it's like, if you have a franchise that's supposed to stack, like you're supposed to watch them all, and the motivation is to they're so good, you have to watch them all, and you'll love watching them all. They're so fun. If that's the case, then you actually have to make them reliably fun and entertaining and people coming back, because you have diminishing returns on that. Every time you have fewer people in the seats for one movie, the sequel to that movie will have even fewer people in the seats. Like you're going to build up, and then at the end of the day, your most recent movie, it's like, well, I didn't watch the last 4, so why am I going to pay money to watch this one? And that's where I'm at. Like, I don't watch any of these movies in theaters because I'm like, one, it's ridiculously expensive, but two, it's like, I don't even know what's going on. Like you guys are saying, I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I don't know. I hope that they just shape it up all around. So it's like less content, hire new writers, bring a whole new staff in of people to like produce something, and then test that. Like they've been testing all of the bad ideas for 5 years. So it's like, test the opposite of what you're doing and find out that the results are going to
But
make
that's
you money.
Disney. That's the Disney way right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just
100%.
on the movies, it's in the parks. It's on their gaming section. It's everywhere Disney's touching. ESPN, the sports. They're having to merge their sports with other fucking sports people. Like you have ESPN. You can go to 10 people. Doesn't matter who they are. They know the brand ESPN. Why is that brand failing then? How do you have such a big name? That's like McDonald's failing. Everybody knows McDonald's. It doesn't fail because they're not doing stupid shit except for taking the dollar menu and making it like $1.50. That, like, but come on, don't do dumb shit. Listen to your fucking people when they're telling you, and it's not just one person you listen to, and that's the issue. One person comes in and changes the whole narrative for this Disney company, but you have millions of people that are actually spending the money, not the people you're giving money to. So you pay this person to tell you the wrong idea, or are you going to listen to the people that are going to go and pay you the money so you can make more ideas? Fuck you.
Exactly.
Right, and also too, Collins, you make a great point about the movies, right? They're expensive, like just for me, and my wife going out to movies and buying the snacks there. Obviously, they're expensive, but it's like for the tickets and snacks, it's like $45 at least, And then on top of that, you're gonna see a Marvel movie. People are like, well, it's been kind of crap lately, so I might just wait for the streaming because now all the companies are putting stuff on streaming like super quick. And
Exactly.
if you're like a family of 3, 4, or 5, you don't have. I mean, you probably don't want to spend $100 or like $150 at the movies to see some like half okay movie. You're gonna
Yeah.
wait till it comes out and you sit at the comfort of your own home and watch it.
I haven't been to movie theaters in like 6 or 7 years.
I go
Really?
when there's something
Yeah.
random that I really, really just don't want to wait for. It's like, I'll go watch it, but they're usually super obscure, like random movies. You know what I mean? It's not like these major blockbuster films, and
When did
most of
Endgame
those
come out?
haven't been that good.
Was it 2018?
17 or 18?
Let's
Yeah,
say
I think
I haven't
so.
been since 17 or 18.
And that's pretty much kind of wrapping up what we're saying. It's like we loved those movies. Those were, you have to go see it. Like we waited
Yeah.
until it came out the previous night at 9 o'clock, and you stayed up the whole fucking night, and we went to the movies and watched it with our friends.
What was the last movie you stood outside for, like, and waited, like, in that big ass line?
Well, what's the last movie anyone has done that for? That's
Yeah.
what I'm curious about.
Dude,
Like nobody's
Harry
lining up for
Potter.
these
Harry
new
Potter, I think, was the last one. Or no, Pirates of the Caribbean. I stood in line for that one.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
stayed in line for Endgame.
I think I stood in line for the first of the new Star Wars because we didn't know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so like everybody was so stoked for this brand new Star Wars saga, and then it's like, I don't
stayed in
know.
line for Phantom Menace. I remember that. Phantom Menace.
See,
we stood in line
I
for.
didn't mind. I didn't mind the Star Wars. I mean, it wasn't, what we were used to, like, but it wasn't bad. Like, that's my
Tones,
thing.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think that the new ones are all pretty.
I think it was more of like a nostalgia thing, just because of the we didn't know who she was at the time. like she
They
could
didn't
be
know who she was when they wrote
exactly.
it.
Exactly. So I think that aspect of it was kind of cool to me because we kind of guessed on who it was. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't the most amazing movie. I just didn't think it was terrible like everyone else thought it was.
Can I
Well,
ask you?
and
Oh, go ahead. Go
special
ahead.
special effects sick. Like,
Oh
was it
yeah.
well done? Was the acting also really good? Like, I thought that everybody was a good job. The story was literally A New Hope with a girl Luke. That's like, it was basically the exact same story, and at the end of the day, she was just a Mary Sue. She was just too good at
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
She never got challenged.
Yeah, and my problem too, my biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is uh doing Snoke the way they did. Like they did him dirty because I was so excited to find out who this person was,
Right.
and then they do that, and I'm like, okay, you guys cut your movie like in the middle of like the trilogy, so what the hell are you gonna do now?
Right.
And then that's what we got, later in the movie, and then part 9. But back to Marvel though, with the bigger franchises, I think that is not the correct answer to be going forward. Because you could take something that's not really well known, but if you do it right, you can make an awesome movie and people will go see it. Especially like now with like some movies that have really good word of mouth, people will go watch the movie. So it's not just about sticking to your core bigger franchises. I mean, yeah, that'll help because people love them, but then as long as you're making good, great movies, people are going to support you and come flock and give you money.
So let me ask you this then, piggybacking off what you're saying. Bob Iger said, "Yeah, let's give you our top franchises." Now, all four of us name the top 5 franchises that they can possibly make for this Marvel Cinematic Universe that can make sense.
Like I said, I like the X-Men. I think X-Men
One.
would be dope. Deadpool, of course.
Yep, but he didn't say new franchises.
Oh,
Otherwise
just
he would have
friends.
said
Yeah,
he would have
well,
said new
Existing.
franchise.
It kind of seemed like existing. We'll be
That's what I'm saying.
focusing
then
on their stronger franchises. And I mean, you could argue that X-Men's a strong franchise just because it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? When they come out with an X-Men movie, it's going to be a big movie. So
Yeah.
So probably Captain America, Thor, Iron Man. I mean, though you're kind of well
So
known.
do we restart? That's what I was hoping you were gonna say. Do you restart those and move on? You
No,
can't do that. It's too soon.
you
So
can't
Yeah.
restart it.
who are you gonna focus on? You have Spider-Man, your
Yes.
X-Men, and your Fantastic Four, and that's pretty much it. That's gonna be
I
that
mean,
for
I
years.
think I think they could do more with the Guardians of the Galaxy too if they really wanted to. Like, I feel like that was a more successful franchise, and they didn't really like muck it up. And yeah, it's like more on the silly side. And I do think that they're trying to push a little bit more of an adult themed to this, like
Mhm.
Deadpool. I think that they want more of that style of entertainment, and I think that they're kind of competing with like like The Boys or Invincible. Like there's this adult
Yep.
superhero genre that exists now because
Great
the
point.
people who read comic books as kids are not kids anymore.
Yeah.
So they don't want to see all this zippity doo dah fun stuff. It's like, actually, I really want to see Superman rip someone's head off and dunk it in a basketball hoop or something. Like, I think that would
Exactly.
be
Fucking
that's
Freddy
what I want to see. And I know now
racing
I'm mixing my universes,
your
but
genres.
And,
yeah,
and so on top of that,
That's
right?
a
It's like
great
that.
point.
Is that I was so excited for Moon Knight, and which I did enjoy the show Moon Knight, right?
Moon Knight was great.
I really love Oscar Isaac as the characters, but I wish we had more violence in it. And we didn't. It was a lot of it was off screen. On screen you got some punching in there, but I want to see some like blood. I want to see body parts be coming off, all this stuff, right? And I know that Moon Knight could be so much more badass than what we were shown, and I believe that, and I wish that Moon Knight would have gotten his own like solo movie, as his introduction, and then a
Yep,
series, right? And then like later on into the Avengers or whatever. But
I agree.
I think but
No, I was gonna say, and Blade will probably
yeah.
that will
that'll be
crush
rated
that
R.
threshold. Yeah, it will crush that threshold. Because don't get me wrong, Echo was rated M for mature or MA or whatever it was.
TVMA, yeah,
Yeah, but it wasn't as all we saw was like blood. You know what I'm saying? Like it
yeah.
wasn't that bad. But with Blade, you're gonna see fucking hearts here and fucking heads chopped off here. Like that movie is going to
Sick.
change as far as Marvel's, genre of being MA.
Right. So here's the thing. I have a question for you guys then. Do you
Go for
think
it.
Disney Plus, because I know how sometimes like on Moon Knight and then Echo, they had like that TVMA thing, right? But do you think Disney should have a actual mature like section for like their Star
No,
Wars or for like their
no.
Marvel.
That's
No?
what they're gonna keep. Oh, you mean like just have those ones separate, but not?
Well, no, not those, but if they make like an actual kind of like mature, like bloody type of superhero
They're gonna use
show.
Hulu for that. That's why the Hulu beta's there. So you're gonna have it still on the same platform but separated. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
Just
and I mean, even now, like on my Disney account, I like set my settings to be like a TVMA, but like and then I set my wife's to be like the
Yeah.
standard one, and then mine has a password. So it's like,
of course
I
put
don't,
hers on Y7.
well, because she doesn't want to type in the password all the time. But no, I think that would be interesting, and maybe there's a money grab option for them in that too. Like, hey, like Disney
Oh,
Plus, Disney MA or whatever. I don't know. It's like its own streaming
MA
service.
Plus, sir.
Yeah,
MA
MA Plus, or like
I
Disney
agree with
Dick.
you.
I think the password. I think the password aspect would be if they had to do something,
Yeah.
do that. But it's like pay attention to your kids. Make sure they're not watching stupid shit.
No, I agree.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that. We're trying to hide people from what they're eventually going to see.
Like
Exactly.
play
It's
video
like-
games. Like don't let your kids play fucking GTA. Don't buy them the fucking game.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your research as a parent before you go and fucking do it. You're just gonna
Exactly.
go buy a dishwasher and not know how it works.
Yes.
But it's like if there's a password, fine. Like, do that. Like, if you don't want your kid watching MA stuff, put a password on it. But it's like put the show on for your child. If you don't want them watching it, don't play it for them.
Yeah.
Or it's as simple as that. I don't think they should overdo it to where they do put it on Hulu for some stupid reason. Or I know it's eventually going to merge, but I don't want to have to go to Hulu and then go back to fucking Disney Plus and watch this, and then go back to I just think it's too much.
So let me ask a question here because it's kind of one of those weird things. So going back to what I was saying of having all these little smaller shows, are you okay with standalone Marvel shows that have nothing to do with the MCU? Because that's where I think things got muddy too, where they tried to make shows that were just not part of the MCU, and someone like me that follows the MCU enough, like I said, I still got lost. Is this show part of the MCU? I don't know because they don't tell me. Or do I have to watch this one to do that? So for instance, Werewolf by Night, nothing to do with any future of anything. It's its own standalone show. But then you have the the Eternals or where
Loki or whatever.
Yeah, like Loki. Do you have to watch Loki to know what's going to happen next in the next Thor? Or, like those are the things that I get as someone that has fallen away from the franchises.
Yeah. And I think that's what has fucked everyone up is because we don't know. Like, but to answer your question, yeah, they should have some standalone. But I just don't get the thing. It's like before the movie, you put canon or part of storyline, like in bold letters. That's like I feel like it's as simple as that. That okay, this movie doesn't. You don't have to watch this. It's not part of the canon, right? It's like you put those in bold letters and tell us what. Like
Harry Potter did a good job at that, by the way, of separating the Beast movies from the original series, book series.
What house? Oh, well, we don't have to talk about.
Oh,
well, I'll say because they're different timelines, but they didn't say, oh, this is this is the Harry Potter universe, but these are their own canon. Yeah, exactly, and it's the books where to find them, books where to find them 2, books where to find them 3, Harry Potter 1, Harry Potter 2, Harry Potter.
Yeah. Totally.
And then they can make their own third thing, which Harry Potter in the fucking he goes and finds fucking potions and shit, and that could be its own thing. Like it's not gonna be part of those 2.
I think there's a new Harry Potter series coming out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it's its own separate thing, so you know where they're all supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Ken, to your question, this might answer it. I don't know, but I know that with like Echo and then the Werewolf by Night, they should have like a banner or something that they're calling it, like MCU Spotlight, which it's its own kind of self-contained series. But with Werewolf by Night, I don't know about that one because that's like kind of very more old school. But with Echo, it's its own self-contained story, but I believe that still fits in the grander like MCU like story.
And see, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's fucking Daredevil in it for 5 minutes. Now it's part of the MCU all of a sudden.
Exactly.
And that's and what timeline? Why are we skipping timelines to bring out weird shows for another timeline to make up this timeline? It's fucking weird. It's weird.
It's like you're digging a hole, and I think that's the problem too, is they're building it up like it looks maybe it is from their perspective. Like they're building up to it. They're building up to something. They're telling all these stories for a reason, and then you get the news like, actually, we're gonna stop telling so many stories. We're gonna like focus in. It's like, oh, so that was all for nothing. That was all just because
Just
you guys
like the
wanted to make
shitty,
content or whatever.
just like the shitty filler movies that they had to put in, like Ant-Man and Wasp. You have to have Ant-Man and Wasp to move forward, but
There's a
they're
new
not
one of
fucking
those
good.
coming out too. I think.
What?
We'll see, and that's
The
this, right?
quadruple
Like,
quantum terium jump. Like, what the fuck? Stupid ass names.
and Colin, to your point, that's where phase 1, 2, and 3 did it best because
Mhm.
yes, you had all your characters in the franchises, like they had their stories, but then they all connected. In
Yep.
this phase 4 to phase 5, I don't feel anything connecting. So what is this leading to? I know we were supposed to have the Kang stuff, but that kind of shot the shit. So like, what's going on now?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Who's the main villain
For
for the MCU right now?
Ronin.
Like
He's just out there.
we
It's
all
all
knew
pizza.
Thanos. We all knew Thanos was it. Like he
I was about to say just Thanos, right? That was it.
that was like I sound like I probably sound like an idiot, and I haven't seen certain movies, but it's like we don't know who the main villain is. Am I
I mean,
wrong?
well, here's the thing. It was supposed to be Kane. That was the
Yeah.
whole point of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then with Loki.
Yeah, that's
But
true. I forgot about Kang, actually.
but then after what
But
happened
that's the
with
point. Once again,
Yeah.
Tony.
yeah. So
But so from what I have read, Kang is going to be it's still going to be Avengers. The movie is going to be called Avengers something instead of Kang's universe or
Kane Dynasty.
Kang Dynasty. There you go. They're looking into recasting Kang as Denzel Washington's son. I forgot his name. It's
Somebody
anyway.
Washington.
Yeah.
Isn't Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, well, obviously he got fired, but yes, it was Jonathan Major. But Denzel Washington's son is supposed to be the next Kang. He was rumored to be recasted as Kang. So I believe they're gonna still continue with storyline. I think he's a good character. I don't mind Kang as a antagonist or villain, so I do think they can eventually get it to where we actually enjoy the movies. But the more they keep putting out, the more confused the fans get. So
Well,
Does Kang hold the same throne as Thanos though? In
um,
your eyes?
yes and no, but the reason why I say yes is because he has the ability to fuck up timelines.
he has
And
that high tech.
yeah, and Thanos technically fucked up his timeline by erasing half of it. But Kang is he's strong. Like he's very strong. So yes and no.
Yeah, I think with Kang, right? Here's the thing. I love the idea of us having Kang, but I think they're taking too long with him
Mhm.
because, and again, this is all about the connection from the shows to the movies. Right? I get it; they can have their own like kind of stories, but they all need to have this overarching narrative.
Yeah, and that's the
And
hard part, right?
yeah, and none of them are having that. Whereas phase 1, 2, and 3, we had that. We knew, oh, Thanos was that big bad guy that was going to be coming and wrecking everything. This, right? I mean, here's the thing. I love seeing Jonathan Majors as Kane. I thought he was great, but they're taking way too long, like I said, to get the ball rolling with
Yeah.
him.
And there's only a few like major villains that can incorporate a whole MCU or a big portion of the MCU too. And I think that's kind of why we're gonna see a different version of this MCU. Because they have to make it match up, and that I hope they go the same route like you're talking about earlier, with taking their time with Captain America, with Red Skull, and then giving us the Hulk, or not Hulk, giving us Iron Man. Well, it's Iron Man first, so on, and then it conjoined into one. They have to do that again, otherwise people are gonna not know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say X-Men, bro. I want X-Men.
I just want Galactus. Give me Galactus.
Yeah.
I also want to see why the fuck am I blanking on his name? He
Magneto,
throws cards.
Gambit.
Gambit. Fuck. I want to see Gambit.
Do we need what's his name as Gambit still?
Channing Tatum or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's Gambit then? See if you guys can cast someone as Gambit.
Um,
You guys have a cool accent, by the way.
fucking. It's a good question, dude. Kanye. I don't know, bro. It's a good question. Let us
Whatever
know
you
in the
want
comments who you
nowadays.
guys would cast as fucking Gambit. I think that's a great question, bro.
You have to have
Fucking
really good hair.
Timothy Chalamet, dude.
Well, I was about to say, who's the actor that plays what's his name, Quicksilver, in the more recent X-Men movies? The guy that runs around super fast and like pulls people out of
Oh yeah. He was in American Horror Story.
that. I feel like that guy would do a good
That guy
thing.
could play anything.
Anybody that's kind of quirky and got a little like spunk to him or whatever,
Yeah.
like he's got that vibe to him.
I feel like he's too short to be Gambit.
Well, it's a movie. I think they can put
Yeah, I
some
know, right?
It's not accurate. This is not accurate. How dare them?
Oh man. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we get out of here?
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do in a weird way, but they've been giving us so much shit that I think I know they're gonna fuck it up. Let me just put it out there. I think they're gonna fuck it up.
And by the way, we hope they don't fuck it up.
Yes, correct.
We hope we see amazing fucking work.
Fantastic Four or X-Men. What if they were to put those two in front of you? What way are you going?
I'd need to see what the stories are.
You don't get to. That's the fucked up part.
Probably X-Men. I'd say. I think I might enjoy it.
It's a safer bet, right?
Yeah.
With X-Men.
Right.
I know those characters a lot better.
Yeah.
But I do want to see Pedro Pascal.
Ain't gonna happen.
Oh,
he's
working.
Mr.
I think isn't he working?
Is that
on
official?
Ant-Man?
Yeah, it's official. He's what's his name? Richards. What's the fucking A, dude? Reed Richards. He's officially cast as him for Fantastic Four.
Oh, I thought it was what's his name?
What were you gonna say, by the way, Mike?
John Krasinski.
No, he was in the as the Illuminati. He was Reed Richards, but in the Fantastic Four is going to be Pedro Pascal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
I love him, by the way. Kaczynski. What's his name? Kaczynski.
What were you gonna say, Mike? By the way, sorry.
I don't remember, dude. Like I have, everybody at home, I apologize for me. Like, dude, I'm just.
I think they're apologizing for you right now.
I know, poor bastard.
If you were to choose the one or the other, what would you want them to start first? X-Men or Fantastic Four?
Probably X-Men. Yeah, definitely. Because we already have Deadpool, so just start with that. You know.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait
Deadpool.
for it. I can't wait to see how they're gonna do that. And that's another thing. Can X-Men be rated mature? Which I know they won't do, but can they? Like, there's those characters.
Logan was rated R,
dude, and that did so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the newer Deadpool, Logan is in Deadpool. Like,
it's for sure. It's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a movie about them too. Like that's
right.
Yeah.
So again, there's gonna have like there are some of those movies coming out that are having like that content, the more mature content.
You just made me think way too deep into something.
Oh, okay. Wait. Well, hold on, Candace. So, do you think that this movie would be a multiverse movie of Deadpool?
That's what motherfucker was about to say. Yeah. So now think of this. Now Disney's like, oh, let me see what we could do. We already fucked up this side of Marvel. Now let me go into all 800 characters of fucking X-Men and just fuck you guys up again. And here we fucking go. So yeah, Mike, I do think they're gonna fuck us over, and I think they're gonna do it with X-Men now. Answer all these questions.
Oh, that's funny.
We're fucked. Thanks, Disney.
That's funny. Oh man, but
Silver Surfers. Oh no, I'm not gonna go there. We already know. We're already fucked, by the way. Just let you know. Respect.
Oh man, but yeah, guys, let us know in the comments what you guys think of them going to big franchises or sticking with the stronger franchises. Let us know what franchises you would like them to stick with and what you guys want them to take out. Let us know what you guys think about the new Deadpool and X-Men or Wolverine coming out. I think that's gonna be a massive movie. I think that actually might be the movie I'll wait in line for. Like legit. Like I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Like and subscribe to the video. But Candid, Michael, Colin, thank you for joining me. Ken, if you could tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me at Candy Camper with an extra R on IG, and then Candy Camper on every platform besides TikTok.
Aren't you on a podcast too?
Oh yeah, the Bad Thoughts podcast. too.
Where is that at?
That is everywhere you can find a channel that has the Bad Thoughts podcast on it.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
YouTube,
Same.
Spotify. That's a crazy one, by the way. We're on Spotify. We are on X sometimes when we post videos there. You can find us pretty much anywhere, man. It's nice.
And was it one more time? What's it called?
X.
No, the name of your podcast.
Oh, the podcast. Bad Thoughts podcast. I don't know what you want me to say, man.
I just wanted to let you plug your podcast. That's all.
Oh yeah, you want me to keep plugging? I can plug other things too.
Yeah. Okay. So Michael, where can they find you on social media?
Yes, sir. So you can find me on Instagram, Michael Ebba, and then on Twitter, now X, at Michael Ebba 1991.
And guys, we're gonna get Colin some kind of social media here soon. So
Yeah, exactly.
keep a lookout for that.
I'll
If
catch
you guys
up.
yeah, I know, right? If you guys want to follow me on social media, Tones_TV on all platforms. Like I said, go follow the Bad Thoughts podcast on YouTube and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe and comment on this video. And yeah, hope you guys have a great night. Love y'all.
And if you want to make $30, you can hit the refer the friend so we can both make $30 on Rakuten.